Мошенники. Ну, да, наоборот, значит, да, да, да,
нельзя просто так взять и заговорить на английском за 16 часов. One does not simply start speaking English. Привет,
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to show you my favorite best piano books, repertoire books and technique books for intermediate level. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and make sure to check the notifications bell to never miss a new video. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like. I made a video a few weeks ago which was showing my favorite books for beginner, my favorite books for technique books, and in this one I want to talk about intermediate books in case you are not a beginner anymore and you're struggling to find repertoire and pieces to learn. Now, intermediate is obviously not an absolute term, so I want to define what I mean by intermediate. So in my view, intermediate is somewhere between grade 3 and grade 6. Maybe grade 4, 5, 6 is better, but the upper end of grade 6 might be going into advanced, and the lower end of grade 3 is still kind of beginner. So the 4, 5 and the beginning of 6 is a good intermediate level, but I'm going to include some books for grade 3 as well, because if you're a good grade 3 then you're technically an intermediate student as well. Before I even start, let me just say that all of these books that I'm going to talk about in this video are going to be suitable for both adults and children. When it comes to beginner method books, there's a big difference between an adult level 1 and the child level 1, but when it comes to intermediate level, the pieces are the same for both adults and kids. So the reason why intermediate is such a cool stage to be in, because that's when the doors start opening and you can finally start to play a lot more original songs. And by that I mean that if you are a beginner and you are playing from method books, you will see lots of famous songs like A Little Night Music and Greek Morning and all these pieces, but all of them are very simplified versions of the original songs, which is still nice to play because you hear the tune, but it's not as satisfying because you're not playing the original song that you used to hear in the radio or on a CD or on YouTube, wherever. So when you get to intermediate level, you'll be able to play a lot more songs in the original form and from a lot more composers, and even very famous composers like Beethoven and Chopin and Bach. And although the choice is still very limited compared to the advanced level, but it's still a lot more than what you can do in the beginner stage. So there's a lot of books to choose from and a lot of composers to choose from, and that's why I made this video, to help you choose and guide you through which books to use at this level. I'm going to break down this video into first classical pieces and collections, and then I'm going to show you a few pop collections as well if you are more into pop music and you want some graded pop music as well. Right, so let me start with the big names. So I'm going to start with Bach. Now Bach is one of those composers that everybody has to learn at least one Bach piece, because it's just so different to all the other ones that you're going to play. It's very different to pop music, it's very different to Mozart, it's very different to Beethoven. It's counterpoint, it makes your brain work very hard when you're trying to play multiple voices at the same time, and it's very good for sight reading and independence of the hands, finger coordination. And when you're at the beginning stage, there's very few Bach pieces that you can actually play, but once you get to intermediate, there's a lot more choice. So my number one suggestion would be the two-part Inventions, which is a collection of inventions, I think 15 if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 15, and they are in C major, C minor, D major, D minor, and so on. And these are all pieces which are basically two separate melodies, one in each hand, and it's teaching you a lot of coordination, but they're also very fun to play. They're very well known. These inventions start at around grade 4 level and they go up to grade 6, 7, I think. So anyway, this book is available in many different editions. It's also available free in the public domain as a PDF, but you can buy, this was the master work edition by Alfred. There is also Churny and ABRSM, so everybody published this because, as I said, it's very well known. If you want to play more Bach, then you should look at collections like this one, which is A Little Keyboard Music, or An Introduction to Bach, because these collections kind of have all the songs which are possible at the beginner stages. If you buy a full Bach collection, then most of the pieces like the suites or the well-tempered clavier, then all of those are going to have mostly very difficult pieces with some easier ones. But these collections are great for the intermediate stage because most of the pieces are around grade 3, 4, 5, some of them are 6. So all of them are possible, and it's a nice selection of you've got some preludes in it, you've got some musettes, minuets, marches, one or two inventions, polonaise, aria, and bourrée, so lots of dances and baroque pieces. So again, any of these, or if you want just the inventions, then the inventions. Going on is Schumann, album for the young, opus 68. Now again, this one is a very good collection that you can have from grade 1 all the way to grade 5. The pieces are progressive, so the very first few pieces are very easy, but by the middle of the book it's definitely intermediate. And if you are a beginner and you're watching this video, you should get this book and you can work from it all the way until grade 5 or grade 6. Lots of beautiful pieces, they're very technical, so they're kind of considered studies, but beautiful studies. Similar to Schumann is Tchaikovsky's album for the young. And again, any edition, all of these books, by the way, all the classical books are available in the public domain, so you can get them for free, but you can also get nicer editions printed out if you prefer books. So this one again, opus 39, is very similar to Schumann. Lots of pieces which are kind of technical studies, but disguised in nice pieces, all the way to grade 5, 6. So different styles. This is more Russian sounding, that's a different style. And this one is very similar, Kabalevsky's opus 27, which is 30 pieces for children. Now don't be put off by the titles here, album for the young, pieces for children. The reason why they are called that is because in the olden days children were learning a lot harder pieces than they are learning now. So these are all very nice pieces, suitable for adults and children. It doesn't matter who plays them, they are just as valuable. So this one is a very good teaching book, and again it's kind of studies, but they are nice studies, not like finger exercise sounding studies. They are progressive and they go up all the way to grade 5. So again, a very good intermediate book. Whichever you choose is going to be great. Now if you want something that's more specifically for technique, then there is the Bible of Churny, opus 599. Now this one is starting at around grade 1 all the way to grade 5, depending on how fast you play the pieces. A lot of great pieces for technical challenges. They are not extremely pretty. Many of them are very similar sounding and lots of broken chords and very similar chords in the songs, but they're very good technical pieces, and also it's quite easy to learn them, so you can do quite a few in a very short time, and it's good for sight reading as well. Now the counterpart of Churny, my absolute favorite, is Burgmüller's Opus 100, which is 25 progressive pieces or studies. Now again, these are called studies, but they are beautiful songs, and everybody who's learning from this book is really enjoying the pieces, and they feature very often in the ABRSM exams as well, and other exam boards. Now this one goes up to grade 5, the Opus 100. So the first half of the book is going to be under grade 3, but the second half of the book is going to be grade 4 and 5. So if you're a beginner, then you should get this now and work through until grade 5. If you're an intermediate student and you don't have the book, then you can still get it and use the first half as a refresher or sight reading and the second half as actual studies, or you could get Burgmüller's Opus 109, which is 18 characteristic studies, which is basically the continuation of the first book, but these ones are much harder, grade 5, 6 and 7. So I have both of them and I love both of them, and whichever you choose is going to be great, but again this one is the upper end of intermediate, and the first one, Opus 100, is the lower end of the intermediate stage. Now one more composer that I have to mention is Chopin, and if you have ever listened to Chopin, you know that his pieces are very, very difficult to play, so there's very few of them even at intermediate stage, but thankfully there are some that you can play. And again, if you buy something like an introduction to Chopin or easier Chopin pieces, a collection, it's going to be very good at intermediate level. Don't buy anything like the etudes or preludes, because those collections will have mostly very difficult pieces with the odd grade 4 or 5 piece. But if you buy an introduction book to Chopin, it's going to have all the pieces which are possible at intermediate level. So this collection has waltzes, mazurkas, preludes, polonaise, nocturnes, so very good collection if you like Chopin. It's going to be one of the best things to practice, and these ones are suitable from grade 4, so grade 4, 5, 6, beautiful pieces, no need to talk more about Chopin. Right, now let's come to the golden standard of intermediate piano playing. Now if you get to grade 3, grade 4, that's the perfect time to start playing your first sonata or sonatina. In the classical period, composers started writing hundreds and hundreds of sonatas, and it became the golden standard form, the sonata form, and there are so many beautiful sonatas. They are quite long, some of them can be 20-30 pages, and they are full complete pieces that each pianist should learn, at least 1 or 2 even at the intermediate stage, but the better you get, the more sonatas you should play, because they are really nice. They cover a wide range of technical difficulties and expression and different styles and moods. Now when it comes to sonatas, again, don't buy a Mozart sonata collection or a Beethoven sonata collection, because most of them are going to be way too difficult for intermediate level. Instead, you should get a sonata collection. Now the one I have here is by Dover, is Sonatinas and Easy Sonatas, but there are plenty of other editions like this one by Alfred and ABRSM, which is a collection of easier sonatas by many different composers, and if you get one of those, you can do all of them because they are suitable for grade 3, 4, 5 level. I'm going to put the other books in the description below, so you can check them out as well. I only have this one because I have many other sonatas in other collections, but this book, for example, has Scarlatti sonatas, Haydn sonatas, Clementi sonatas, Mozart sonatas, Dussek sonatas, Beethoven and Kulo, so all the standard sonatas, and these are the easier ones, so it's not going to be very difficult to learn them. Now if you're preparing for an ABRSM exam and you're an intermediate student, then you're very familiar with these exam collections. For each grade you've got these books which are full of pieces, and they are very good because they have a wide range of pieces, so not just classical, you also have romantic, you have some modern pieces and some baroque pieces, so it's basically a collection in itself, and they are all graded properly, so you know that everything in the grade 4 book is going to be suitable for your level. And these are great if you're preparing for exams, but even if you don't do any exams, you can go to your